What if Marcus Aurelius could teach you how to attract women today? Sounds strange, but the traits Stoicism builds, calm confidence, emotional clarity, and grounded presence, are exactly what women naturally respond to. This isn't about pickup lines or trying to impress. It's about asking the right questions with genuine curiosity and quiet strength. In this video, you'll learn 6 powerful, Stoic-inspired questions that create real emotional connection, not surface-level small talk. Imagine her leaning and fully engaged. Not because you're performing, but because you're present. That's the Stoic edge, leading with emotional intelligence, not chasing with insecurity. These questions go deeper. They reveal values, spark chemistry, and build trust. And the men who use them don't get more attention by being louder. They get it by being real. Question 1. What's something you've never told anyone because you thought they wouldn't understand? This is not just a question, it's a doorway. In a world overflowing with shallow conversations, this one cuts through the noise. Most men stick to safe topics: what she does for work, what kind of music she likes, how her day was. And there's nothing wrong with that, in the beginning. But if you want to stand out, not just in her memory, but in her emotions, you have to invite her into something deeper. This question does just that. It's bold, vulnerable, disarming, and that's why it works. When you ask a woman, what's something you've never told anyone because you thought they wouldn't understand, you're not asking her to perform or impress you. You're inviting her to be real. And very few people in her life, romantic or otherwise, have likely ever made her feel that safe, that seen, that heard. But here's the key. It only works if you are grounded. Stoicism teaches us to become a calm harbor in the middle of life's storms. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the rock against which the waves crash. It stands firm and the raging of the sea falls still around it." When you ask this question, you become that rock. You're not asking to probe or pry. You're asking with presence, with patience, with zero judgment in your body language, your energy, or your eyes. And that silence afterward, when she's thinking, that's the moment most men ruin. They panic, they fill the air, they rush to make her feel comfortable. You don't. You wait. Not to manipulate, not to test, but because you respect her answer, whatever it may be. And because your intention isn't to dig into her past, it's to create a space where she can lay something down she's been carrying. You see, a Stoic man understands that his power lies not in controlling the moment, but in containing it. Your strength is not in being loud or dominant, it's in being emotionally still, even when the conversation turns vulnerable. You don't try to fix her feelings. You don't try to relate it back to your own experiences. You simply hold space. And here's what most men miss. When a woman opens up to you on that level, when she feels seen without being judged, when she shares something raw and you don't flinch, she begins to trust you with her emotions. And that trust is the root of emotional attraction. You're not trying to entertain her. You're revealing your values by how you listen. You're not seeking validation. You're demonstrating emotional leadership. And in that stillness, something subtle but profound happens. She relaxes. She drops her guard. She starts to feel. Now, will every woman answer this question? No. And that's okay. Stoicism reminds us to focus only on what we can control. Our intentions, our character, our presence. The purpose of this question isn't to get a perfect answer. It's to reveal what kind of connection is possible between you, and whether she's ready for that level of depth. And if she is, she'll remember this moment. Not because you said something clever, but because you made her feel something rare: safety, presence, authenticity. That's Stoic dating, not the chase, not the act, not the script. Just a man who is enough as he is. A man who listens without the need to speak. A man who leads with stillness. Question 2. What's something that really matters to you, but most people don't understand why? This question is a natural progression from the first. It deepens the emotional exchange and invites her to share more of her true self, her core values. It's a question that reveals more than just interests or preferences. It exposes what drives her, what makes her tick, and often what she values most deeply. From a Stoic perspective, this question resonates with the idea of living according to nature. Seneca said, "A gift, even if small, is not to be despised if it comes from the heart." Asking about something that truly matters to her allows her to reveal what's genuine, what she holds sacred, regardless of whether or not the world around her understands or supports it. This question doesn't just seek an answer. It's an invitation for her to open up about her deeper beliefs and passions, those parts of her that may not be immediately visible to others. It's a subtle test of authenticity, one that shows whether she's willing to share her truth, even if it might be misunderstood. And it invites her to reveal her vulnerabilities, which is an area many people instinctively protect, especially in the early stages of dating. But here's where the Stoic part comes in. You are the steady observer. While she shares, you remain calm and composed. You don't interrupt with your own opinions, and you don't try to fix what she says. You listen with understanding, without judgment, and with an open heart. This is key, because most men want to impress. They want to relate every piece of information back to themselves, as though their opinions are what matter most. But a Stoic doesn't need to do that. He listens to understand, not to validate his own views. By asking this question, you're giving her the gift of emotional leadership. It's not about persuading her or even necessarily agreeing with her. It's about showing her that you're safe enough to be vulnerable with, that no matter what she says, you'll be there with stillness, curiosity, and understanding. Intro. This way, the question also reflects the Stoic concept of ataraxia, a state of emotional serenity, where external circumstances, or even differences in values, don't disturb your inner peace. No matter how wild the conversation gets, you remain grounded, and in this state of calm, your presence becomes magnetic. Not because you're trying to manipulate the interaction, but because you're the one person who doesn't need to prove anything. When she shares what matters to her, it's her way of inviting you deeper into her world. She's opening up not just about her preferences, but about what guides her actions, what shapes her identity. If you truly listen, you're not just learning about her. You're gaining insight into her inner world, her sense of purpose, and her true self. And that's where true connection lies, not in the superficial things we talk about, but in the quiet understanding of who we are, what we value, and what we want from life. So when she opens up, don't rush to reply. Don't jump into solving or explaining. Just listen. Hold the space for her to be real. And that, more than anything, is what will attract her to you. Question 3. When was the last time you did something completely out of your comfort zone? This question is a challenge to her to reveal her courage, her growth, and her willingness to face fear. It's about asking her to look beyond the everyday and into the moments where she stretched herself, faced something unknown, or did something that required real inner strength. From a Stoic point of view, the obstacle is the way, as Marcus Aurelius famously said. This question aligns perfectly with that Stoic principle. It invites her to reflect on a time when she faced a challenge and pushed through it, whether it was small or life-changing. It asks her to bring forward the strength, resilience, and adaptability that are central to the Stoic philosophy of flourishing through adversity. This question does more than spark conversation. It subtly tests for compatibility. Why? Because it reveals the mindset she holds when confronting discomfort. It shows her willingness to grow, learn, and evolve. This is incredibly attractive, not because of the event itself, but because it demonstrates that she's willing to challenge herself. It shows you she has an adventurous spirit and the courage to leave her comfort zone, qualities that make for exciting and dynamic connections. But just like the previous questions, the way you ask this matters. A Stoic approach requires you to be calm and non-judgmental. You're not asking to see something impressive or daring. You're asking to understand how she faces fear and growth. A true Stoic understands that growth happens when we meet discomfort head-on, but it's important to remain steady in the face of it. So as she answers, you remain grounded, unshaken. You don't rush to validate or dismiss her experience. You just listen deeply as she shares the moments that have shaped her. And as with all the questions, this isn't about you showing off or taking the conversation to some performance-driven level. This is about creating a space for vulnerability. When you ask this question, you invite her to step into that space, to show you who she really is when the world is asking her to step up and push her limits. What's important here is the emotional leadership you provide, the stillness you offer as she speaks, the understanding that no matter how big or small the experience was, it was a moment where she grew. That alone is valuable. The beauty of this question lies in its simplicity. By asking this, you show her that you value courage and personal growth, qualities that align with Stoic thought. It also allows her to share a moment where she can reflect on her resilience. And as a Stoic man, you meet her with emotional stability and respect for her journey. If she's answered it truthfully, she's now revealed more about her character, her mindset, her ability to face fear, and the way she perceives challenges. And this type of self-awareness is incredibly powerful in a partner. A Stoic man doesn't seek out perfection. He seeks authenticity and strength in the face of adversity. So when she answers, be present. Show her that you're genuinely interested in her personal growth, not just the surface-level details. Let her know that you see the beauty in her willingness to face the unknown, and that is where true connection begins. Question 4. What do you think is the most misunderstood thing about you? This question is a powerful invitation for her to open up about her complexities and the layers of herself that often go unseen. It allows her to share what she feels people often get wrong, giving you a deeper glimpse into her true nature. The parts of her that she may feel others overlook, misunderstand, or judge too quickly. From a Stoic perspective, this question taps into a fundamental truth of human nature. We are often misjudged, and yet our true character is shaped by how we respond to those judgments. Epictetus famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." By asking this question, you invite her to share what she values most about herself, and the personal struggles or misunderstandings she has had to overcome to maintain her sense of self. It's an opportunity for her to reveal how she defines herself in a world that is often quick to label and categorize. The beauty of this question lies in its authenticity. It's not asking her to explain herself in a way that satisfies others' perceptions. It's asking her to define her identity on her own terms. It shifts the conversation away from the usual, "This is who I am," answers to something more nuanced. "This is how I am seen, but it's not who I truly am." For you, as a Stoic man, this question is a reflection of your own understanding of how misunderstood we all can be. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control how others perceive us, but we can control how we react. When you ask this question, you are showing her that you don't need to form an opinion or judgment based on surface-level assumptions. You are allowing her to express her true self, unfiltered and unshaped by external expectations. But your role here is not just to ask, it's to listen, truly listen. This is where emotional intelligence and stillness become key. You don't rush to explain away her feelings, nor do you try to fix what she feels misunderstood about. Instead, you allow her to speak freely, to lay bare her truths. You listen with empathy and without judgment. You remain grounded in your own sense of self, which allows you to create an emotional space where she feels comfortable sharing her vulnerabilities. And when she opens up, don't diminish her experience. Don't interrupt with your own stories or perceptions. Instead, mirror her experience back to her with understanding. A simple, "I understand what you mean" can go a long way, but avoid minimizing her thoughts. The Stoic practice of acceptance comes into play here. You accept her answers without the need for validation or approval. You accept her for exactly who she is, not based on how she conforms to your expectations, but based on her honesty and authenticity. This question is deeply personal, and if she answers it, it shows trust. She's allowing you to see her hidden side, the side that's been misinterpreted or overlooked. In that moment, you're not just learning about her misunderstandings, you're learning how she handles being misunderstood, how she handles others' perceptions of her. This reveals strength, emotional resilience, and vulnerability, all of which are incredibly attractive qualities. In this way, you're not only demonstrating emotional leadership, you're showing her that you're secure enough in yourself to handle whatever she shares. You are the steady presence she can rely on, and that's what makes this question so powerful. It's an invitation to understand her at a deeper level, to appreciate the complexity of who she is without needing to fit her into any mold. Question 5. What's a belief you used to hold strongly but changed your mind about over time? This question invites her to explore her personal evolution, the process of growth, self-reflection, and learning from experience. It's about more than just what she believes now. It's about understanding how her mind has expanded, adapted, and embraced change. From a Stoic perspective, this question speaks to one of the core tenets of Stoicism: the ability to change your perspective in light of new experiences. Epictetus taught that we should be constantly evolving, as growth is an essential part of life. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This question gives her the chance to reflect on moments of transformation, times when she's been forced to let go of outdated beliefs, outgrown certain perspectives, or experienced personal growth that reshaped her worldview. In many ways, this question allows you to see her journey, not just the destination, but the process of becoming who she is today. What was it that made her change her mind? Was it a particular experience, a moment of clarity, an unexpected influence? Each answer provides insight into her character and her openness to growth. It reveals her capacity for introspection, for learning from her mistakes, and for evolving, qualities that are incredibly attractive in any partner, but especially in someone who values emotional depth and authenticity. But your approach, as always, matters just as much as the question itself. A Stoic man knows that his role isn't to judge or criticize what she says. It's to understand her perspective, where she's coming from, and what has shaped her journey. When you ask this question, you must be prepared to listen without rushing to respond with your own stories, or to challenge her beliefs. The goal is to let her share freely without feeling the pressure to defend or justify her past self. In fact, your job here is to make her feel safe to admit that she's changed. This is where your emotional leadership comes into play again. You're showing her that growth is not only accepted, but celebrated. Stoicism teaches us that change is natural and should be welcomed, as it aligns us more closely with virtue and wisdom. So when she shares a belief that she's let go of, don't minimize it. Don't scoff or dismiss it. Instead, acknowledge her growth, celebrate it. The beauty of this question lies in how it offers both of you the opportunity to bond over the one shared experience of personal evolution. Every person has changed their mind about something important. It's a universal experience that transcends age, background, and life stage. It's a chance for her to show you her vulnerability, to reveal that she's not the same person she once was, and that's something that's shaped who she is today. And for you, this question is also an opportunity to subtly demonstrate your own openness to change, to growth, and to learning. If she shares something that surprises you, rather than reacting with surprise or judgment, stay composed. A Stoic man remains steady, showing that he is not shaken by the evolution of others' beliefs. He listens, he processes, and he appreciates the growth. In this way, this question serves multiple purposes. It deepens your connection by revealing how she thinks and grows. It shows your emotional maturity, and it creates space for mutual respect. Because the truth is, real attraction is not built on surface-level admiration, but on a deep understanding and acceptance of who each other is, flaws, growth, and all. Question 6. What's one thing you wish more people understood about you? This question is an invitation for her to express what often gets lost in translation, the essence of who she truly is. It's about unveiling the core of her being, the parts of herself that are often misunderstood or overlooked. By asking this, you're giving her the opportunity to clarify, in her own words, what she wishes others knew, but perhaps never had the chance to say. From a Stoic viewpoint, this question embodies the Stoic practice of self-examination. The Stoics believe that in order to live a virtuous and meaningful life, we must understand ourselves deeply, our values, desires, motivations, and the way we're perceived by others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In this question, you're not asking her to defend herself or explain away misconceptions. You're simply giving her the chance to reveal more of who she truly is, without judgment, without the need to conform to anyone else's expectations. What makes this question so powerful is its authenticity. It doesn't require a perfect answer. It's not about getting her to reveal a hidden truth, but about showing that you are genuinely interested in understanding her at a deeper level. It's about respecting her complexity and recognizing that there's always more beneath the surface. By asking this question, you invite her to open up about the pieces of herself she feels are often missed, those subtle aspects that make her who she is, yet might go unnoticed in everyday interactions. The beauty of this question lies in its ability to create a space for mutual vulnerability. It asks her to take the risk of exposing something personal, a part of her identity that might be hidden, misunderstood, or even misjudged by others. And by asking it, you signal that you are someone who isn't just looking at her for what she can do or offer, but for who she truly is. You're showing that you value her essence, not just the surface-level qualities she presents to the world. As a Stoic man, your role here is to listen deeply and accept what she shares without needing to respond with your own thoughts or opinions. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control the perceptions of others, but we can control how we react. So, when she opens up, don't interrupt, don't judge, and don't try to offer solutions. Just listen. Allow her to express herself fully, and by doing so, you create a space of emotional trust and safety. In that moment, she might reveal something that surprises you, something vulnerable, or something that makes her feel exposed. And that's where your emotional leadership comes into play. You show her that you can handle her authenticity, her truth, and you're not going to be shaken by it. You create a calm, grounded presence where she feels comfortable being her true self. What's even more powerful about this question is how it ultimately shifts the dynamic between you two. By creating a space where she feels seen and understood, you're not just engaging in a conversation. You're building a genuine connection that goes beyond surface-level attraction. You're showing her that you're interested in more than just her looks, her personality, or her achievements. You're interested in her soul, in understanding what makes her her. This is the heart of Stoic dating. It's not about impressing her, trying to win her over, or playing a role. It's about showing up authentically, being emotionally present, and creating a connection that is rooted in deep mutual understanding. This question ties everything together. It's the culmination of all the previous questions, all the vulnerability, the growth, and the emotional depth you've shared. And here's the thing. By the time you ask this question, you've already demonstrated that you can handle the depth and complexity of who she is. She'll see you as someone who isn't just looking for a surface-level connection, but someone who is ready to go deeper and explore the true heart of the relationship. So there you have it. 6 mind-blowing questions, each grounded in Stoic philosophy, that can help you create deeper, more meaningful connections. The goal isn't to impress, perform, or follow a script. The goal is to be authentic, to show up with emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and the kind of confidence that comes from knowing who you are. Remember, attraction isn't about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about creating a safe space for vulnerability, allowing both of you to share your true selves. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the way we engage with the world and with others is the key to genuine connection. So, lead with emotional strength, grounded presence, and authentic curiosity. I hope these questions inspired you to approach relationships with more confidence, clarity, and purpose. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And share it with someone who's looking for more meaningful conversations in their life. Until next time, stay calm, stay present, and stay stoic. See you in the next video.